Hey, what's going on, you guys? This is Madam 81, and I'm coming back to you again. Ooh, the church, the pastor, they fucked up all the church's money. This is from Bossip and the Bossip staff, and it says Chicago pastor allegedly steals 142K from a federal fund for needy children to buy a Bentley. Yes. Tell the truth and shame the devil. A Chicago pastor is making national headlines after authorities say he defrauded a federal fund intended to help needy children and used it to buy a luxury item like a Bentley. The Chicago Tribune reports that Reverend Clarence Smith Jr., age 45, of the New Life Impact Church, pleaded not guilty to 4 counts of fraud in the U.S. District Court. Smith is accused of over-reporting to the state the number of children, elderly, and disabled his church fed through their program that they have. He then allegedly wrote personal checks to himself. Prosecutors allege that he billed the state $1 million, which was paid in 2 separate checks in July of 2016. Wow, and they just catching up to him? Whew. Anyway, the Tribune reports that Smith then withdrew money from the church's bank account and wrote checks for unrelated expenses unrelated to the church. One such was a $142,000 cashier's check for a 2015 Bentley Flying Spruce luxury sedan for himself. And here's the kicker. When Smith was questioned about the number of children served by the federal fund, he suddenly couldn't find the official records and claimed they'd been damaged in a flood. The newspaper reports that Smith told the Illinois Board of Education, which locally administrators the program, the records showing that the number of children the church had served meals to had been damaged in the flood and were no longer available. This is not the first time Smith has been accused of financial fraud. The Chicago Tribune reports that in 2001 he pleaded guilty to a charge of financial exploitation of the elderly after he used the credit union account of a deceased man. What? And wrote checks to himself totaling $100,000. Oh Lord, take the wheel. And this is him right here. Ooh. Following that, in 2012, he filed for bankruptcy, reporting that he only had $20 cash to his name and wouldn't be able to pay the $80K he owed in restitution. The Tribune also reported that in 2015 and 2016, he was sued by 2 food supply companies for failing to pay them, although both suits were settled out of court. After the Tribune's article was published, Smith posted the following message to Facebook. To everyone who has seen the negative article about me in the press, I say wait until you get all the facts. The Tribune reports, he wrote. It totally hurts me that after fighting back and forth with the state for 5 years that I have been charged with fraud from the food program. Of course, the media would portray me as a criminal, but didn't mention the multiple daycares that I have ran and several other businesses that I was a part of. I'm not here to prove or explain myself to anyone. I'm going to fight this with everything that I have in me. For those of you who know me and won't rush to judgment, Please pray for me and for those of you who are looking to throw me or the church under the bus. Pray for me also. Peace. Another day, another shady pastor. You really hate to see it. And here's another one from the Chicago Tribune. Disturbing. Very disturbing. But hey, it is what it is. Uh, you know, pastors, that's one of my qualms about going to church. If you haven't noticed or picked up in the videos that I've did on some of my videos, I am not a believer in going to church and paying tithes, especially when you don't know what the real tithes is. The real tithes is to help somebody. You don't have to go to church to do that. You can find some random person on the street, a neighbor, a homeless person, an elderly person, a family in need, and give your 10% to them. And 10% is not necessarily money. See, this is what they don't tell you. But it's always good to give money. 10% could be food, 10% could be clothes, 10% could be comfort. As long as it helps someone, that's your tithes. But they don't tell you this in church. But I'm not surprised. I am not shocked by this. It's a lot of pastors out here doing the same thing, and their congregation is struggling, going through the most, and the pastor and his wife is driving nice cars and going on vacations and all that. So with that being said, I would like to know what you feel about this. Please drop down in the comments. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And as always, I will get back with you guys later.